What's good, everybody? Happy Tuesday evening. Hope all is well with you and you and you and you. Buckeye Scoop family, Buckeye Nation. Always great to see y'all cooking in the chat per usual. Stilly Mats, Liz Brandon, Doodah Man. What's up? I ain't seen your name in a minute. All the usuals. What's up, y'all? Good to see you, Mark Swick. Listen, we're going to talk about the hot topic right now. DGG. Lots of buzz, lots of chatter, lots of back and forth declarations. We're going to talk about it. Before we do, hit that like button, then hit the subscribe button, then follow up, hit that bell notification so you get notified whenever we go live. And then if you're not on YouTube, Apple people, download us, save us on Apple. Non-Apple people like me, Spreaker.com, hit those platforms up, cover all the bases. All right. And remember, when you send those wonderful super chats, helps to go towards the pay it forward, which is our military and our first responders. We're going to look out for them because they always look out for us. And just a program reminder, we got a huge triple header tonight. After us, we got the homie Dev. He will be interviewing Brock Boyd's dad. Brock Boyd was called into a position, I believe a position meeting last minute. So he may not be able to make it. But we still got Brock Boyd's dad, who is a great interview. He'll be on at 8:15. And then after that, we got the newly 5-star committed D lineman, Marcus Fakatu, coming on at 9:15. So we got a nice triple header tonight. Stay tuned, get your popcorn, your refreshments, and all that. But in the meantime, we got the star, Nevada Buck. What's up, brother?
I want to apologize to you for getting mad at you for ruining the United States soccer team chance to win last night by watching the game or something like that.
Oh man,
Because
it was. I
man,
blame me because I'm like,
that
man, this is
that
not it.
that was a stinker, dude. And it was a stinker from the first minute. Like you're watching it and you're like, I mean, I literally turned to my kids. I'm like, the moment's too big for them. The moment is
Yeah,
just too big for them, and they just didn't get it done. So I have to lash out at somebody. So I'm going to lash out at you, bees. Are you okay with that?
you can lash out. I'm looking for my text in the thread. I was like, what did I say? I was like, oh, they scored a goal already? Because I'm Mr. Dumb Soccer guy. And I'm just like, what did I say? But I was baffled. Like, what's going on here? Like, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know. It was definitely frustrating to see. And then, we scored. I'm like, okay, 2-1. And then Belgium got another goal. I was like, this is over. It ain't happening. So, yep, unfortunate, but I tuned in, Nevada. I watched. I got a little bit of soccer fever, but hopefully next go around we can get her done.
Yeah, I feel like USA Soccer had a moment. That was a moment that they could have really launched themselves into the consciousness of the mainstream public, and I think they kind of missed the mark. But oh
Yeah.
well, hey, World Cup comes again in 4 years, and you know, we'll get excited. We'll talk about World Cup again in 4 years. How about that? Make it.
Right.
Let's make a date. Let's put it on the calendar.
Let's do it. Circle back in 4 years and hope we can get out of the Sweet 16 of soccer.
Oh yeah, oh yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
In the meantime, I'll be, enjoying me some good old football and basketball, man. That's home for me, sports wise. But let's dive into this, Nevada, man, because the DGG stuff, you know, lots of opinions. The uncle has come out and just set social media ablaze, and people are just, this just extremes and this and that, and it's over, it's not over, and it's a lot. So we're gonna talk about it. I know there's some things you want to address and kind of go into. So let's have you kick it off, man, and start talking about this. What's your thoughts on the uncle and his latest quotes and an article with Wilt Fong and all the buzz from that, man? Let's just get into it.
Well, I thought that the players' response, the I didn't say nothing or I didn't say anything or whatever was an interesting response
Yeah.
from David Gabriel George. But look, the uncle. I want to be delicate about this, but at the same time, I want to be direct. To be honest about this, Tennessee has kind of launched a new strategy, and it's an oldie but a newbie, but they're really focusing on relatives, and they've been doing this, and we saw it up close and personal with Legend Bay. We saw it up close and personal with Chaz Coleman, and now we're
Yeah.
seeing it up close and personal with DGG. And it's a line. You talk about the different things about, offering his friend. What can you do to make him feel more comfortable? It's just, there's a line that Ohio State in 2026 is just not willing to cross, and that's one of them. That's just an area that they haven't been willing to go to. They haven't been willing to go to. Let's pay off the relatives, and that can take many shapes and forms. With the uncle, if you go to a Tennessee summer football camp, you're looking to see the uncle be coaching there at the Tennessee, and that's kind of an old one, man. That was I'm going to date myself, but you remember Lamarcus Joyner? Remember
Yes.
Genron, the thing. Well, that's how Genron got taken. He would be paid to teach at these summer camps, but he was paid a wage that was like 10 times what the normal wage was. You know what I'm saying? But that was
Yeah.
back in the day when you had to be really clever about how to get payola. Now with NIL, you can pay the player, but the guys surrounding them are kind of going, well, what's in it for me? That's great that David's making all this money. Well, in the uncle's case, it's a gig. Uncle getting a gig. So when you hear the uncle talk, you have to remember that you have to put it in that context, and that is happening. That's not speculative. We've known this, for a minute, and so I think I take everything that the uncle says with a grain of salt. All my information comes directly from Ohio State side, and I can just tell you, the Ohio State does not believe this one's over. And if they're right, that's great, and there'll be great rejoicing. And if they're wrong, to me, the biggest troubling thing about them being wrong right now, in my opinion, would
Mhm.
be, what does that say about Coach Laughlin's recruiting slash judgment slash evaluation of where they stand with recruits? You know what I'm saying? Because I think
Yeah.
it's an open question right now of, we love his story, his inspiration, his energy. His biceps look like two of my legs put together and wrapped in tape and then exploded. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, he's a big dude, but he hasn't demonstrated that he can recruit yet. And last year, he was the one who called off the jam on Savion Hyder. Like, they literally backed off Savion Hyder because of David Gabriel George. And like, that was the thing. We're not
Yeah.
going after this 2026 because you only have so much money. We're putting it into DGG in 2027. Well, now if something happens and your evaluation is wrong, and what you've been saying to Ryan Day and to Mark Bentone is wrong, and we end up not getting him, well, what does that say about Locke? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that would trouble me way more than any player not coming to Ohio State, because I've said this 1,000 times. I've told you this on the air. I told you this off the air. I told you this in person. I just don't care about it. After Terrell Pryor, I said I don't care about any recruit. I just don't care about any
Yeah.
individual recruit. And in the NIL era and in the transfer portal era, I certainly am not going to get worked up about any one recruit. I'm happy when we get them, but if we don't, I mathematically I realize that there's probably an 80%, 90% chance we'll never hear from them again. And and even if we get them, look at how many guys transfer. You're all excited about a kid, and then they transfer, a year in or 6 months in or 2 years in or whatever it is. So um, I'm David is a recruit that I really want, because I think he's a difference maker. I think if for some reason Ohio State's wrong and they don't get him, that they have to go out and find a difference maker, and they're out there. I mean, he's not the only running back in the country, but this would really put the pressure on them, because they put their eggs in this basket, not just for this recruiting cycle, but for last recruiting cycle as well. And
Yeah.
they're still bullish. I'm riding with Locke. They still feel like they're the chalk. They're going to get the sign on the dotted line. Um, but in the NIL era, as we've talked about many times, who knows? Now keep in mind, and I've been reminded this, several times. Any recruit that's coming in next year is coming in Bo Jackson's junior season. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And now that there's 5 years, you'd literally talk about Bo Jackson having 3 more years of eligibility potentially after any recruit hits the hits the thing. So even when we missed on Bijan Robinson, and we've talked about this before, well, we ended up with Trey Sermon, we ended up with Travion
Yeah.
Henderson. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
we were fine. So I think for DGG, I'm riding Ohio State. To me, makes all the sense in the world. The thing that I can never really factor in is the outside influences and this strategy that Tennessee has done of basically paying off the relatives. And let's call it what it. That's what we've seen it happen with other recruits in this recruiting cycle. We've seen it happen.
Legend Bay too.
So Legend Bay and Coleman. It's we've watched it happen twice already. So could it happen a third time? Look, anything's possible, but I'm still riding with Ohio State. I think Ohio State makes all the sense in the world. But this recruiting strategy by Tennessee, it may help get the guy on the campus, but will it help keep him there? So far, it hasn't. So we'll see how it works out.
Yep. And there's Locke looking extra jacked in this picture, like Nevada said. And so, yeah, Locke put his eggs in the DGG basket. So, can you like control every little thing with recruiting? No, but it's a judgment call. So, yeah, it's going to be a question of, man, like, okay, Locke. Now we'll pivot. We'll pivot to the portal. And it's funny because the uncle basically, in my opinion, summarized his thoughts by saying Tennessee is a lesser program, but so DGG can be a legend there, and Ohio State's going to be Ohio State. They're going to just get another back. I mean, what he said is true about Ohio State being able to pivot. Listen, I want DGG badly. He's my favorite recruit in this cycle. I'll be disappointed for a day if we were to not get him, and then I will move on. The machine will still keep going. With that said, I don't think I'm not like there's, to me, the uncle's comments, although it does come off Tennessee slanted, they're still weird to me. It's still incomplete. It doesn't make sense to just jump off the wagon for Ohio State based off the uncle's comments, especially Nevada. You mentioned this tweet. I'm about to show it. I put it on a little graphic so it'd be a little bigger. So this is David Gabriel Georges. He said, I didn't say anything. That was his response. So let me ask you, Nevada, and actually in the chat, I want interpretations because I'm going to read a little bit of the quote from the uncle. But Nevada, if you had to try to interpret what this means, and chat, I want y'all's words. What does this mean in response to what the uncle said and the chatter that ensued afterwards, Nevada?
Well, I mean, clearly he's distancing himself from the quotes. Now, we've always been of the opinion, and again, and getting this from people that have interacted directly with DGG, that this is a pretty straightforward kid, pretty straightforward young man, not a game player. That's one of the things we've really liked. And that's why we've always thought that he was an Ohio State type of recruit and not a Tennessee type of recruit. But and to me, it read as distancing himself from the comments. Um,
Yeah.
but I think a fair-minded reading of that could just be, hey, I'm getting blowback, but it's it may be right, but it may be wrong, but it's not my words. It's the uncle saying it. But I'm sure I can't imagine this went over well with him with his uncle saying this stuff.
Yeah.
Just because like if you set it up so you've got an announcement, you want to make a big deal, whatever it is, and then somebody comes in and says something like this. I think they would be alarmed. I'd like to have been a like fly on the wall for those conversations with him and his uncle, because this is definitely creating a blank storm for DGG to kind of
Yeah.
navigate, and probably unnecessarily so. And I'm sure he's kind of looking at his uncle going, "Why are you doing this?"
Right. Yeah, because this uncle was just kind of yapping. Here's a quote. I'm not saying he can't become a legend at Ohio State. I truly believe in my nephew. David would do what he does. He's the best running back in the class. It's not even close. I will forever, I feel wherever he goes, he'll be something different, But I feel sometimes when you're part of a machine, yourself, you're just another great player in that machine. When you go to another team where they need you, and Ohio State fans are, we need David. Ohio State doesn't need David. Ohio State can go in the portal and get a couple of good running backs. They'll probably try and flip someone else if David doesn't go there. Ohio State will always have pieces. I feel like at a school like Tennessee, and I'm not saying he's going to Tennessee, David will be the main guy and they'll bring other back so he doesn't have to. So this is a quote, one of the quotes from the uncle in the article. This is one of the many quotes that makes people think it's Tennessee and he's tipping his hand. But this uncle guy, he was all over the place in this article, low key, and it was just kind of a weird thing the way he was just saying stuff. I don't know. Like this was just kind of just all over the place. It's like he was being an apologist for Tennessee being the lesser program, like trying to get out in front of it if David picks them. Well, it's like he's repeating the pitch from the Tennessee coaches. You'll just be another guy there at Ohio State, which is Nevada. That's a common recruiting tactic from other schools against Ohio State. Like we've heard that before. You're just another guy there. You come here and you'll be the man. It's just a weird take. But your thoughts on this, and I'm gonna pull something else up that I thought was funny from a Tennessee person and their kind of their angle and their argument. These takes from Tennessee fans and this uncle regarding Tennessee is hilarious to me. It's just weird, Nevada. These quotes. What you got?
Well, look, we always have to accept the fact that Ohio State is not for everybody. We know that. We've always talked about. Ryan Day's talked about that. Ryan Day said, "Look, if you don't see yourself in a certain light, then Ohio State's not the right place for you." And so, if you're if you're the type of player that doesn't want to go to a place with a lot of great players, and you want to go someplace else where you can play with lesser players and do that, I mean, look, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just it's a different strategy. I would submit that when you look at the disparity between the number of players drafted between schools like Tennessee and Ohio State, that I mean, it's really a different development path. I mean, it's whether it's in the strength and conditioning, the nutrition, the practice, the meeting, whatever it is, the environment, the culture, your chances of being drafted in the NFL go down dramatically by going to Tennessee as opposed to going to Ohio State. So, I think, for a player that would make a choice like that, you can see why they have second thoughts about something like that, or Legend Bay who got bamboozled into it, or a Chaz Coleman who went there and then is like, man, this I don't this is not where I want to be. I mean, those types of stuff. I mean, you're seeing the second thoughts, and I think for a player like DGG, if he buys into that, I hate to say it, but then he's not the guy that we thought he was anyway.
Yeah,
But that's how I feel. I feel like kids that would choose like, if his uncle is articulating his feelings accurately, if big if,
if
and
right,
saying, I want to go someplace where I don't have to play with other great players, and I want to be the man. I want to be the big fish in the little pond, and have the other, have the well that's probably not the right kid you want for Ohio State anyway. I mean, it's just not. And and
true,
and nothing we've seen from him up to this point has indicated he's that type of player, that type of kid, or that he's got that type of mentality or disposition. So I feel a little unfair talking about him that way, but I think it's just reality. I mean, Ohio State isn't for everybody. Ohio State is for kids who believe that they're first or second round picks, that top 60 kids at the NFL draft, and are ready to go into a hyper competitive environment. And for running backs, I mean, why do you think Quinshon Judkins came to Ohio State to play
right,
with Trey Henderson? Because you don't have to carry the whole load. Because you don't want to be a running back. Like when Tennessee gets a good running back, you know what they do? They run him into the ground.
yep.
That's what they've always done. You get
Oof.
300 carries, and they've done it over and over and over and over again. And let me tell you what, you can talk about. I have got a good relationship with Josh Heupel. Josh Heupel very well, if he has one, if slips up this season, could very well be gone.
Yep.
could very well be gone from Tennessee. Ryan Day ain't going anywhere anytime soon. He's the elder statesman of us. Talk about staff stability. So I think there's a
Preach.
lot of reasons for guys to do it. But Heupel, man, don't get too comfortable, Josh Heupel, because you may have a
Mm.
brand new coach because his booty could be down the road if he goes 7-5 this year.
Nevada, you preaching, brother. You hitting the points. Listen, nobody talks about that enough. That staff stability. Yes, the upfront money sounds great, but man, all this other stuff matters. The long term matters. Development matters. The track record, all of that. The 40 years versus the 4 years matters. Is Hypo going to get fired if he doesn't make the playoffs next year? All of that matters. So, a couple of things. I want to read this quote. Then I want to respond to some of Sports Talk Jay's angles of Tennessee and and the pros of going to Tennessee. I wanted to push back on my brother when we get a second, but I want to read this. First of all, Scoop Twitter retweeted this. The caption was Tennessee's best pitch is we have only had one top 10 pick since 2012 compared to Ohio State's 15 since 2015. Here's the body of, I'm about to read what they were retweeting. Some dude named Joey Peterson. He said, after reading the Will Fong article on DGG, where his uncle reports that the five-star running back has already made his decision, I come away more confident in Tennessee than I ever have. All right. And he says, not just because of the money, that's obviously a factor, but I don't think the most important one is in this recruitment, whatever. But here's the thing. This is the logic. Listen to this logic, y'all. Something that has become obvious is DGG cares about legacy, and it's harder to leave one at Ohio State than it is at Tennessee. That's just the truth. Huh. Interesting. He goes on. If he's a Heisman finalist at Tennessee, he's automatically the best player we've seen in Knoxville since Peyton. Ohio State has had 7 Heisman finalists since 2018. If he's a top 10 pick in the NFL draft, he's the second to do that for Tennessee since 2010. Ohio State just had 3 going to top 10 2 months ago. Finally, of course, all of those could be looked at as reasons to choose Ohio State. Yeah. And I don't think anyone would think he's dumb to do so. But if he cares about legacy, he can make one in Knoxville in year 1. What a logical, fallacious, goofy take, Nevada. Please jump in on that take. That was just, it's like, that doesn't make any sense to me. But I get it. That's all they got right now. But to me, Nevada, that is a clear and concise way of comparing the programs and basically smacking yourself in the face as a Tennessee person while trying to make a pitch to a player. Go ahead,
Well,
Nevada.
Well, it's the old, you're trying to take a weakness and turn it into a strength. Like if you have bad facilities, you say we only want players that don't want them fancy shindigs. We want people that are blue collar and hard nosed and can play in the bad thing. If you play in a tough conference, we want players that come here and want to play and have competitive thing every week. You play in a bad conference. You can come here and dominate. You talk about you're a school where you've had poor development, poor NFL success. You, you talk about legacy. You talk about leaving a mark. You're the one who can come and be the Paul Bunyan, this giant that can just run down the field here at Tennessee and do all that. And the one thing that I've learned from my many years of watching football in general and college football in particular is it's a team game. It's a team game, and you are only as good as the guys are as the staff that's coaching you, as the players that are on your side of the ball, the players in the locker room with you, because it drives everything you do. It drives how you approach practice, how you approach weightlifting, how you approach testing, how you approach off field stuff, on field stuff, your approach to the game. And I think for players that choose that lesser path, that choose that I'm gonna go. I'm Bryce Underwood, and I'm gonna go to Michigan and try to be the big dog at quarterback. 99 times out of 100, they end up sucking, just like Bryce Underwood
Yeah.
does. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if you're gonna be the guy that goes and it's like, oh, I want to be the guy, and that's okay. I'll play with lesser players, and I'll play. I mean, you play in a tough conference. I'm not saying it's tougher than the Big Ten. It's different, but it's tough as heck. And you go out there. I, you know, that's why so many of these guys. I mean, think about it through your years of following recruiting, B, and you
Yeah,
follow recruiting as a fan, as a journalist, as a
right.
blogger for many, 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 many years. And you think about of all the thousands of recruits that you've followed that you come to Ohio State, not come to Ohio State. When guys don't come to Ohio State, how often do they ever surface again? You know what I'm saying? Very. The answer is very rarely. You know what I'm saying? Very. And it's so very rarely that we can almost remember them. You know what I'm saying? We'll be like, oh yeah, Bijan Robinson. I remember when we missed on Bijan Robinson or something. But I mean, think about all the guys that everybody was like losing their minds over. Jason Gwaltney and Fred Davis and Rico McCoy and
Rico
you know what I'm saying?
McCoy. Yeah.
Just go to the list of it. And like and none of them did doodly duty. You know what I'm saying? It's because Ohio State is the secret sauce. Ohio State, it's not about Heartline. It's not even about day. It's about Ohio State. It's about everything that is Ohio State. And that's what creates the great players. That's what creates the NFL ready talents. That's what creates the guys that can win in college, that can go be successful at the next level. That's what it is. And if you don't want to be part of that as any player, I think these things self-select because I think there's a reason why such a high percentage of those kids go on elsewhere and don't turn out to be anything. It's because they were the wrong kids. They were not the type of kids that could be or would be successful in an environment like Ohio State's.
Yep. Well said. Well said. Ages and platforms and maximizing his talents. The track record and the facts and the resume comparison shows it's clearly Ohio State. That doesn't mean Tennessee can't possibly maybe do that for you, but Ohio State shows that they've been more consistent than almost any program, if more than any program, especially with Saban gone. So those are just the facts. And when you come to Ohio State, it's not going to be easy. But guess what? You're going to come out the fire as pure gold. Think about this, y'all. Think about, because here's the thing. On your path through Ohio State, you're experiencing, championship opportunities. You're experiencing the biggest stages, biggest platforms, opportunities, real actual opportunities to win titles. But then look at how the NFL GMs all react to Ohio State players. Just across the board, how impressive they are on and off the field, how prepared they are for the NFL. Just across the board. Nobody does it better right now. So you're right, Nevada. You're right. So, yes, if he chooses Tennessee, which we have not conceded that. I know some people have conceded that and just gave, because of the uncle, we have not conceded that. But if he were to choose Tennessee, then God bless you, have fun at Tennessee. But I would be like, oh yeah, he's not who I thought he was, because it's clear. Like if they did their research like we believe they did, and he still chose that path, I mean that's cool. But the words in the declaration of what you valued don't match up with the decision, in my opinion. So I'll leave it at that. Go ahead, Nevada.
Well, and also, I mean, to your point, and it's a great one. The idea that you would choose a school and he'd be saying, I'm choosing Tennessee knowing I have 0% chance to win a national championship in football. Zero. I will never win a national championship in football.
Be honest.
Let's just be honest. Like, you're not going to win a national championship in football. T. Martin ain't walking back through that door and going to lead them to a championship or something like that.
Yeah.
They're in a situation where you have a chance to play and get big with a team that's going to be in the mix right there for the national championship, or you can go play for the B squad. I mean, I mean, yeah, it does not make when you look at it that way. A lot of people make that choice because they don't have the choice. They don't have the Ohio State offer, but DGG's got the Ohio State offer. So that's why whenever people start talking about other reasons why they're going there, I always think I have a nagging thought in the back of my mind that, are you just saying that to rationalize why you're taking the bag? You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like,
Oh yeah.
I went there because, and I'm not saying this because I know you're a person of faith, but I prayed on it, or I did this, or you know what I'm saying. I always am a little skeptical hippo. I'm like, are you just saying that because, you know, I want to go to the place where I'm more comfortable. I want a place where I have a better relationship with the coaches. I want to play a place where I have more teammates. I want a place where I can be the big fish in the pond. Is that just code speak for the bag's bigger? And I don't know. I mean, I'm literally just throwing that out just as a general, because we've never had this discussion before. B, and I'm
Yeah.
curious what your thoughts are on stuff like that when people talk about things like that. Um, how much do you think the bag influences decisions these days?
I think it influences a lot, but it depends on the family. Because one thing that gives me hope, Nevada, is that we've experienced in these past few years of the NIL surge, families who have chosen Ohio State and the bigger picture over the bigger bag. Okay, we
No
talked about,
question. No,
right,
no question.
right. The
Yes.
Sanchez family, who's big, big friends of the show. That's a family. Petty John, and I can keep going on and on.
Every recruit, just get the recruiting list for the past 3 years.
Yeah,
Every single recruit.
exactly. But here's the thing, y'all. Just to remind you, Ohio State, again, these families, and they'll tell you, and Duke Pettyjohn, he did a great job of articulating this. While you were out a few weeks ago, me and Dev and Duke did a show, and he did an excellent job of giving his perspective as a parent, why he chose Ohio State over other teams who were offering more money up front. And he understood the big picture, the long term, and the fact that it's not like you're not going to have an opportunity to get paid a lot here in Columbus, Ohio. I told y'all I'm born and raised here. I'm proud of it. This city is not the same city as it was 25, 30 years ago. Columbus is popping for real. And when kids come here and their families come here for the first time, they're blown away and sometimes shocked at what they see. And so, listen, man, we got a lot of great families who value the bigger picture more than just a few more bucks up front. And so that's what we're going to keep doing. Will DGG be added to that list? I don't know. We're going to see. But if you want to respond to that, go ahead. But I wanted to talk about Sports Talk Jay and respond to some of his comments, and then we can get to these super chats.
Well, no, I mean, look, Columbus is. I mean, it's a fabulous town. I mean, for if you're talking about somebody who's got a big picture view of, life after Columbus being the NFL, or life after Columbus being my life after Columbus, both of those things lead you to Ohio State, because nobody has a better support network, alumni group.
Yep.
Nobody takes care of their own better than Ohio State does. And, man, I cannot tell you how in my professional life, how many times I've run into people with Ohio State connections, whether direct connections or indirect connections, yeah, overseas, the West Coast. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's just it's everywhere, and that's not true of every school. Every school isn't that way, and I think for Ohio State players, man, I always say all you got to do is just, if you're an ex Ohio State player, just be nice to people, and you can have a great life the rest of your life if you're just nice
Absolutely.
to people. That's all you got to do. Just don't be a jerk, and you can be, people will go out of their way to take care of you, because, man, they love their football in Ohio, and nothing better than being an Ohio State football player or ex player.
Absolutely, man. And real quick, Buckeye Scoop Twitter was banging out the hits today. They were just sharing some Buckeye running backs. You mentioned Judkins leaving Ole Miss to come to upgrade, to level up, and come to Ohio State, and he won a natty. So yeah, I mean, there's no comparison. But listen, let's talk about Sports Talk Jay real quick. Shout out to Sports Talk Jay. That's our guy. We beefing right now as far as this battle with DGG, but it's a friendly, fun beef. But I want to go over a couple of his points. So basically, his argument, Nevada, I was watching his pod earlier, and he was talking about running back shelf life. He was saying, hey, take the upfront money because your shelf life is lower as a running back, so to get your money now, right? That was his argument. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. But on the flip side, you can make the argument from Ohio State's perspective of, yeah, running back shelf life. That's why we're not going to force you as a freshman to come in and run the ball 30 times and carry the load. Now, y'all keep saying there's going to be another back. Oh, there's going to be another back with you. Okay. But listen, the way y'all talking and the way y'all just, oh my God, he's going to be the savior. Y'all talking like this dude is a savior. So you can come to Ohio State, develop, earn your keep, compete, be developed like all the other guys have been developed, and the tread on your tires won't just be worn out the first couple years because you're just being overused and ran into the ground. So the shelf life argument can go to both ways for sure. So Nevada, before I go to the next point, what you have to say about that?
Well, I mean, look, if you just forget, I always say if you want to know where somebody's going, look where they've been. And with Tennessee, look at how Tennessee has used their running backs in the past. So they run their guys into the ground. That's what they do. Ohio State's always been running back by committee. The fact that they were able to, bring in Quinshon at a time where he was, 400 carries and come in and share it with Trey. That's the exact reason he came. That's the exact reason Trey wanted Quinshon here, because they were sensitive to that issue. But Tennessee's never been sensitive to that issue. And if you think about it, with a guy like this, who they're going to expect to be the savior, who they're paying savior like money, they're going to run him into the ground. That is, and Josh Heupel coaching for his life. So,
Right.
and you can't have you can't make all those same arguments. Well, you're going to come here and you're going to be the big fish in a little pond. You're going to be the guy. You're going to be the legacy. You're going to be this. Oh yeah, but you're going to be a part-time back in a cadre.
Right.
Wait a second. The words in the music aren't really lining up there.
Exactly.
You have to really put yourself into some sort of a emotional twister to get to that thing right there where you're like, okay, well, he meant this, but he said that, and it really they'll do this, and I know they've never done it before, but now in the future they'll do it. Nah, running backs at Tennessee get ground into mincemeat. That's why they've been so few of them have been successful at the next level. That's just facts.
Yeah. Yep. It's just, I mean, I don't know what to tell y'all, man. Like it's, and some of y'all getting mad in the chat, the arrogance of Ohio State. It's facts. You can call it arrogant. You could call it whatever you want to call it. Debate what we're saying with logic and facts. Prove us wrong. Or is what we're saying wrong? Shoot, we've even given y'all props. I've even been charitable with Tennessee as a program. I could just go in and really just go in on y'all for real, but I'm being charitable because I'm trying to be fair. Okay, you're a good program. Okay, you're just not on our level, and you haven't won anything since 1998. Can we just be honest? Like what? Like I don't understand. I don't understand. It's facts. So call us arrogant, call us whatever you want to call us. But what they say, facts don't care about your feelings. It really don't matter. With that said, as we wrap up the Sports Talk, Jay, his insiders are saying it's a done deal. And DGG loves their strength and conditioning coach. He loves everything about Tennessee. That's a quote. And Tennessee's obviously very confident. So that's how they feel about it. Great. Okay. All I know is the uncle ain't making a decision. DGG responded with his tweet, of I ain't said anything. Here it is. I didn't say anything. Interpret it how you will. Crystal balls have not moved. There's still 2 weeks left. These recruiting sites have improved every year on how to get clicks. We're going to wait and see, y'all. We're going to wait and see. The sources on our side are not filling. And look, we've said this, Nevada. You can confirm this. We've said this. First of all, if we got some news that was contrary, we would tell you. This ain't no, oh, yeah, he's going to be a vote. We just holding out. No. If we heard contrary news, we would say it or post it. And not only that, if Ohio State wasn't feeling good about it, things would leak out and things we would know, right, Nevada? We would start getting the little trial balloons out there, right? Of kind
Well,
of,
well, well,
go ahead.
what you'll start hearing is you'll start hearing alternative names. You'll start hearing about who they're going to, because that's what Ohio State will do. I mean, if Ohio State misses on a
Yep.
recruit that they've been waiting on for 18 months, they're going to immediately shift into high gear to try to find an alternative. And there are alternatives to every position on the field. We see it with quarterback, we see it with linebacker, we see it with lineman. I mean, there's always alternatives, but they put their eggs in the DG, and specifically Locke has put his eggs in the DGG basket. So
Yeah.
I'm rooting for him to bring this one home. I think it's important for him to do so, because if he doesn't, I think he's not like going to be fired, but the pressure is going to be on him to do something, because he has been adamant that we're getting
Yeah.
this kid.
Yep. And last thing, he looked me dead in the eye and said, I mean, he absolutely loves this kid and he believes in this kid. So yeah, I mean, this is a big deal. This is a big deal for Locke, not for Ohio State, because obviously we will be more than fine. But Locke has definitely put a lot into this kid. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Let's get to these super chats. Kent Curry, thanks for the 199. Thanks for covering this early. I didn't say it. I think he's doing the quote, the DGG quote. I didn't say anything. Yeah, I mean, I just find that interesting. And I don't know if I was asking the chat to give me their interpretation. I don't think I saw too many responses unless I just missed it. But he doesn't talk that much. He's not a talky, chatty recruit. There's some recruits who love to talk. He's not one of them. And so the fact that he felt the need to say, I didn't say anything, I thought was a something, Nevada. Is just what depth of a something is it? But I just found that very interesting, Nevada.
Yeah, no, I mean, like I said, at the very least, it's an uncomfortable conversation between him and his uncle. But I'm sure, David's getting questioned. I'm sure Coach Locke's first question was, "Hey, is this thing done?" You know what I'm saying? And if
Yeah.
it'd be interesting to hear the response to that, because we have not heard from Ohio State side. That's the big, for us, if Ohio State folds on a recruit, we'll tell you. That's why last year when Chris Henry Jr., when that thing was going on and everybody in the world was conceding him to Oregon,
Yep.
and you remember, you guys can go back and pull the receipts. I'm gonna go, no, we're not conceding this one yet. Ohio State has not said this one's not over. Oh, he's going to Oregon. Oh, for sure he's going to. And I'm like, guys, just let's let it play out and let's see what happened. And what ended up happening, he ended up signing with Ohio State. So same thing with this. Let's let this play out. If we hear anything contrary, if Ohio State starts pivoting, trust me, we'll let you know.
Well, exactly. Nevada, thank you for bringing that back up, because just like when we miss on recruits, the thread is on fire for a week, right? But if we get the big 5-star, it's yay for about 20 minutes and then people
Dude,
move on.
Marcus Fakatu. We got Marcus Fakatu. Who another player that we had the equal sign on, and we get Marcus
Yep.
Fakatu. Yeah, yay, yay. I think we got 4 comments, and 3 of them are from like
Yay.
relatives of B Moses, and they're going, yay, good job. And that's it. But if we'd have missed on Marcus Fakatu, oh my, it would have been end of
Yep.
days.
Yep.
End
So
of days.
exactly. So let me preach real quick and we're gonna finish up because we got to hit on this. Shout out to Dev and every insider at Ohio State I'm sorry, in Buckeye Scoop, who followed up and corroborated and also just added on. But Dev really had this a long time ago, months ago, the Marcus Fakatu stuff. And reminder, he'll be on tonight at 9:15. Make sure you tune in.
No,
Okay.
no, I'm sorry. I don't want to interrupt your train of thought, but
Go
yeah,
ahead.
Dev had this before anybody had this.
Anybody,
Before
anybody,
anybody.
Wilfong,
Yeah.
Berm, any of
No,
them,
forget it. Any of those guys. Dev had it first, no question.
flat out. So this is what we're telling y'all. And so it's just funny because with that said, it's like, whatever. But if we were to miss, like Nevada said, oh, Buckeye Scoop, you're blue, whatever. Like it's just like, come on, y'all. Like, I don't expect some of y'all to be, fair or reasonable, but it still needs to be called out. With that said, and I'll wrap this up. The Chris Henry Jr. Nevada was absolutely all over this because think about it, Nevada. There was a lot of angst. It was signing day, Heartline leaving. We found, he just found out Oregon's bringing a big bag. He's already on the West Coast. I mean, people were already just wrapped. It's done. And it wasn't based off of facts. It was based off of their own fear and projection of what they felt was going to happen based off what I just said. Like, oh man, this is obvious. He's got to be going to Oregon. Heartline's gone. Nevada the whole time. Hey, my guys are saying, hold on. He's looking for a reason to pick Ohio State. But again, nobody remembers that, Nevada. Oh, if you're wrong, occasionally wrong, it's just like they zoom in on that and forget all the hits. But that's just my personal little frustration. Go ahead, man. We can move on.
No, no. Look, I get it. It comes with the business, and
Yeah.
I'm immune to it now. B, I've been doing this so long,
Oh
man.
yeah, 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 for
That
sure.
thing, that song. I am titanium. I am titanium. Doo, doo, doo. That, like, the Nevada Buck is titanium. It's like no. Send me a direct message. Make a bad comment about me on there or something like that. I'm going to let you guys in a little secret. I don't read them. I don't care. I don't
Oh
care.
man. Yeah, but even with that said, I'm gonna go hard for your brother. Just point that out because people can be
Pew, pew, pew,
ridiculous,
pew.
man.
I am titanium.
All right, so what we got next here? Trick Daddy Fish and Chips and Prime Rib Buck. That sounds delicious.
Mm,
Uh
mm.
Stilly Matt. Absolutely, man. Thank you, brother. Always appreciate you chiming in with the great names. And Kent Curry, thanks for the 199. It's a fact you haters make us famous. Yeah, I mean, they're watching now. Hi, haters. We know you're watching, you're lurking. You love us. You hate us, but you love us. You hate us, but you love us because you're watching. So, how you doing? Any word for that, Nevada?
Now, B, there, you told me a story, and I don't want to go into the details, but you said that somebody tried to say something negative about you, and I couldn't believe that any person in the world could ever say anything negative about you. And because that was the biggest shocking thing, that somebody in the internet could even try to say something negative about B Moses. That's when you know that the internet has reached the absolute bottom. Because B Moses is the nicest person in the world, and, like, I don't know how anybody can say something bad about you, B.
Well, Nevada, you had there's a rude awakening for you, sir, because there's some people who hate my guts. There's people out there, and listen, look, I think I'm a nice guy. I think I'm a fair
You
guy.
are nice. You're the nicest guy, B. You are the
Listen.
nicest guy.
If people who know me, people who've had any disagreement with me, and y'all out there, we've spoken. If you show respect, I show respect. Like it's all love. Even if I don't agree with you, if you come at me respectfully, we can have a conversation, whatever, and cool. And some of y'all out there know like what I'm talking about. But there's some people who hate my guts, Nevada. And I'll tell you what, a lot of them are Michigan fans because I stay on their neck. I stay
Yeah.
on Michigan's neck. And they hate me for that. I mean, you talking about the attacks and threats and inboxes. Oh, yeah, I get it. And then, of course, there's scumbags out there who have tried to attack me on certain platforms just because they're scumbags. And, it's just what it is. So sorry, Nevada. Sorry to disappoint you. There are people out there
I
who hate my
B,
guts.
I don't even understand that, B. Seriously. Like hating on Nevada, I get it, man. I embrace the hate. I kind of enjoy it. I kind of gravitate towards it. But, like, you are the nicest person in the world. You don't need to be titanium. I am titanium.
I'm gonna
Pew,
have to go
pew,
Spotify
pew,
that
pew.
later. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is, brother,
Yeah.
and it's all good. I've been around on social media page and doing this for a long time. Not as long as you, but I'm used to it. But I get what I say this: I got way more people who rock with me and got love for me than I do have haters. So I'll say that, and I appreciate y'all out there for sure. All right, Clueless, what's up, man? Thanks for the 5. I feel like DGG's uncle doesn't even know where DGG is going, but wants the spotlight from his nephew and is using this as a way to be in the spotlight. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, everybody can have their own kind of opinion about it. I thought the article was just kind of weird and extras, but who knows, man? Who knows, Nevada?
Well, I think, look, I think we don't know whether or not he knows where the nephew's going, but there's no question that article was all about uncle and not about the kid. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
that is a fact. That's just a fact. That's not an opinion. That's just fact. And that's a little weird. That's just a little weird. But
Yeah.
hey,
Yeah.
that's people rock certain ways, and he was definitely, look at me like Uncle Rico. I can throw that football over those mountains.
Yeah, yeah, man. It was just a weird read from that standpoint. It's like, man, you doing too much, Unc. That's how it came off. You doing too much, Unc. That's how it felt to me. Kent Curry, thanks for the 199. Means nothing separating himself from it quick. Talking about DGG. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting, man. It's like I want to hear from this kid after. I hope he talks after the announcement because I want to hear his perspective where he's coming from because we've heard a lot from the uncle, in what 2 or 3 articles now. So I'm curious about what DGG has to say, and he doesn't have to say anything honestly, but I'm curious if he wants to talk what he has to say about it.
Yeah, no, look, it could be nothing. It could mean everything. We'll find out in 15 days or whatever the heck it is, or we'll probably know from Ohio State before then. So stay tuned.
Yep. And the last super chat, Stilly Matt. If you hate B Moses, look in the mirror. What is that? Oh, the mirror, and it says you, and it has funny faces. Yeah. I mean, listen, some people need to look in the mirror then, because I do have some haters, y'all, for
I don't,
sure.
I don't
And
believe I don't believe you, B. I don't
oh,
believe you.
bro, like, come
Those
on,
got to
man.
be
Like,
like Those got to be Macedonian bots or something like that. I don't believe those are real people.
these are real people. These are real people, man. And like I said, I would say most of them are Michigan fans, but then there's another group who probably hate me just for other goofy, weird reasons that I'm not going to get into. But have at it. Listen, we doing us over here. We having fun. You know what I'm saying? I'm a blessed man. I'm doing what I love. So hate all you want. Ain't gonna stop nothing. But unfortunately, it's true, Nevada. I got haters. So either way, either way, we're gonna keep rocking. But listen, we're gonna go ahead and hop off because at 8:15 in a couple of minutes, we got Dev interviewing Brock Boyd's dad. And I don't know if Brock's gonna be able to come on because of the meeting. But either way, listen, if you have not heard Brock Boyd's dad speak or just share his thoughts, he is a coach and he's a good interview. It's going to be fun. And then after that, 9:15, Marcus Faculty, the 5-star that we just, oh, yeah, Marcus, that's it. And then let's wring our hands over who we won't get. Y'all need to celebrate this kid. He's an excellent young man, excellent family, really good interview. I'm looking forward to both. I'm going to go grab me something to eat real quick, and then I'm going to get my popcorn ready. Nevada, what's your final words on tonight?
Just that, B, I want you to know that I love you, and that if these other people don't like you, that I'm going to protect you. I'm going to protect you from any of the meanies out there on social media, because now that I've discovered there are mean people out there, I feel like I need to throw my arms around you, and protect you. And I want to shout out Deontay Marshall for bringing us together. And I've never even met Deontay. I've talked to him on the phone. Like, we've never met throughout all these years.
Yeah.
And you and I are going to be hanging, hobnobbing, eating caviar in California, just sucking on prime rib and watching the games together. And I haven't even met Deontay yet. That makes me sad.
Yes, thank you, D. Listen, that's my guy. Like, he's one of my closest friends. I talk to him almost every day. I talked to him earlier today. And so he's gonna get a kick out of this because he said the same thing. Like, man, I hooked y'all up and I didn't even get to meet Nevada. Like, he has said that before. So we got to make that happen. For those who don't know, Deontay Marshall is the brother of Jalen Marshall. So he's been around. He knows some people and some things. But yeah, shout out to Deontay for the assist on that for sure. So we got to make that happen. But last thing, Nevada, no need to wrap your art. Listen, I've been doing this for a long. I got memes and I got bars for these haters. Like, anybody who follows my page and knows me, like, stop it. I have fun with it. It's ridiculous and pathetic, but I got bars for them and they know it, and that's why they hate me even more. But it's all good. It's all good. We're going to go ahead and hop off. Get ready for Dev. Until next time, Buckeye Scoop family, Buckeye Nation. Go Bucks and peace.